Jog Vlog.
So the other day, news came out from ESPN, or actually not from them, but of them, laying off 100 on-air talent. A few of them were kind of names. Most of them were just sort of fill-in Joes. Now let's think about this, guys. I'm calling it the SPORTSCASTAPOCALYPSE, okay? When you're a sportscaster, your whole goal is to move up to ESPN. You're over there talking about high school sports and local colleges on the local news that nobody watches, and you're dreaming of being on ESPN. And now that dream may be not just dashed for these people, but ruined for those in the future. Cable subscriptions are down, and every year ESPN ups their cost on the cable provider, making your service more expensive just because it includes ESPN. See, ESPN believes that they're the #1 cable channel that people subscribe to. And when they churn out the same product, and all it really is everybody talking about how great LeBron James is ad nauseum, people get a little sick of it and they tune out. So what happens when they double down on all this commentary? Well, some people have got to go. The commentary thing's not quite working for them. Maybe people want something without a bias for a change. So they have to get this big shakeup going. And with this big shakeup, we see a few people axed. There's this terrible show called Russillo and Cannell. Awful, awful. It's on one of the high channels like ESPNU or ESPN News. I tuned in the day after Cannell, who by the way was terrible on air, after he got fired, just to see what would happen. Now you know how we had the O'Reilly factor for like one episode became the factor? This didn't even have a name. It was just some intern pushing a button in the control center, and then these two guys came on who looked like they'd never been on camera before. The background just said ESPN radio, and all they did was just give you some news. And that was it. And they called this block over on the TV guide while the cable channel's listing. They called it Russillo Cannell, and all it was this stuff. But guys, I think we got fed up with ESPN's shtick, didn't we? What's gonna happen to these sportscasters? Well, they could go back to local news and get 1/10 of the salary. I would not be surprised at all if there weren't some, let's just say, suicidal tendencies. Near $1 million jobs. Some of these guys get like $4 million. Not even the ones axed, you know. The big names, they got to stay, and anybody who played pro ball and actually did decent gets to stick around too. Because ESPN would rather have the name than the talent. That's what it boils down to. You don't believe me? It all runs that way with sports. Tony Romo retires. Days later, gets to do sideline commentary. No experience, none needed. He's Tony Romo. He's a name. People ain't just tuning in for the game now, they want to see Tony Romo. And that's the way ESPN would like to have it. Yeah, you're gonna go watch Randy Moss. You're not gonna watch this analyst, this guy who went to college, this guy who has a broadcasting degree, journalist, seasoned vet. That shit doesn't matter. Just give us a name.
Like, comment, share, follow, subscribe. Vaughan Jog Vlog is made possible by your support on Patreon. Patreon.com/Vaughan Fry. Because fuck Google.